Involved shooting that killed a Joplin man, and the latest on the outage that broke the internet. KOAM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, a crash in Neosho lands a car in the front windows of a restaurant. Plus, a fleeing suspect flings a Missouri officer onto the hood of his patrol car. And members of Quapaw Nation invite the community to walk for domestic violence awareness.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Jasper County prosecutor rules an officer-involved shooting that killed a Joplin man was justified. This is KOAM News. I'm Dow Quick. Gavin Newton died from injuries sustained in April when a deputy shot him during a domestic disturbance call. The prosecutor says Newton was intoxicated, refused commands to show his hands, and claimed he had a gun. When Newton charged at deputies with a knife, one deputy fired his weapon. Jasper County prosecuting attorney Teresa Kinney says, quote, "The man was almost on top of the deputy when he fired his weapon. Under the circumstances, the shooting was justified." The Missouri State Highway Patrol completed its investigation in August. The officer on leave following the incident was cleared and has been back to work. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for our first look at the weather.
Well, definitely turned out to be a windy day for us today. This is due to a cold front that is rolling through. You can see the wind switching out of the northwest now. They were out of the south, so we're going to start to usher in cooler air as we go through the overnight hours tonight. It's a dry front. We really don't even have any clouds with it, so we aren't going to see any rain, but our temperatures will take a dive later on tonight. Let me take you into Tuesday morning. 46 Nevada, Anderson 48. At Grand Lake, Chanute, down to about 46 degrees. But Tuesday is going to be a great day. About 67, 68 degrees, plenty of sunshine, still going to be on the breezy side. Then tomorrow night, we drop back lower 40s. Then a smidge warmer as we go into Wednesday, and we have more rain, a lot of rain in the forecast. We'll talk about it here in a bit.
All right, catch you in a few. Authorities released information today about a fatal ATV crash from this weekend. Missouri State Highway Patrol reports it happened in rural Berry County at around 6 o'clock Saturday morning. According to troopers, a 24-year-old Aurora man overturned his all-terrain vehicle on Farm Road 1240, 5 miles north of Cape Fair. On 1245 north of Cape Fair. He died at the scene. The victim's name has not been released. A driver is rushed to the hospital following a tractor, trailer, and car collision in Newton County. Happened just east of Mo 59 and US 60 this morning. Neosho Fire, Newton County deputies, and Newton County ambulance all responded. The man driving the car had to be extricated from the wreckage. He was rushed trauma to a Joplin hospital. The semi-driver was not hurt. Authorities in Neosho responded to a car crash this morning, this time into the front of a Brahms restaurant on Neosho Boulevard. The car struck a large refrigerator inside. The driver says his foot slipped off the brake and he hit the gas. No injuries were reported. The Brahms remains open for business. Diners are asked to use the south entrance. Some dramatic video out of Clinton, Missouri today. This is footage of a suspect fleeing a gas station this morning and sending a Clinton police officer flying into his patrol car. Officers responded to the initial call regarding a woman who said she'd been assaulted and was not allowed to leave. When officers approached the suspect, he refused to leave the parking lot. The video shows the moment when he reverses the car and strikes a Clinton officer, throwing him onto his patrol car. Police followed the suspect, who crashed his vehicle into a lake. He was continuing to run but was caught by Clinton police. Barton County, Missouri voters will decide whether to extend the ambulance district's current sales tax to online and out-of-county purchases. It's called a use tax. Right now, that local sales tax helps pay for ambulances, equipment, and training, but it only applies when people shop inside the county. The new measure would apply the same rate to online and out-of-area purchases, helping keep revenue local. The question will appear on the November 4th ballot. Today marks the beginning of School Bus Safety Week. Missouri State Highway Patrol wants to remind parents, drivers, and students there are several simple ways to keep our smallest passengers safe on their way to and from school. Troopers have plenty of advice for marking school bus safety, not just for the week, but all year round. Just head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, for more information. The Quapaw Nation invited the public to its first ever domestic violence awareness walk today. The walk brought nearly 80 people out to participate. Organizers say the goal of the event is to raise awareness and stand against domestic violence.
To educate the community about domestic violence and that it is a crisis. It's a crisis in our community. It has no boundaries. It used to not have an identity. It used to be a silent topic, and now it has an identity. It is domestic violence.
The theme for this year's walk was Love Doesn't Hurt. Organizers hope to make the walk an annual event. Internet services around the world take a hit due to an issue with Amazon Web Services. Coming up, we're going to look at the extent of the damage, including at some area schools. But up first, the latest on a ceasefire.
The fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas faces a major test after a wave of violence. I'm Erica Brown with more on that and the legal victory handed to President Trump amid his crackdown on crime.
1 week after President Trump's historic visit to the Middle East, the fate of the ceasefire he helped to broker between Israel and Hamas is uncertain. As Erica Brown reports, Vice President J.D. Vance departed for Israel late today in an effort to calm tensions and keep the peace deal on track.
Vice President J.D. Vance is on his way to Israel to address growing tensions. He is scheduled to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Tuesday. Over the weekend, Israel's military launched strikes in Gaza following an attack that killed 2 Israeli soldiers. Hamas denied responsibility, but President Trump blames them for violating the ceasefire.
They're going to be very good, they're going to behave, they're going to be nice, and if they're not, we're going to go and we're going to eradicate them if we have to. They'll be eradicated.
Trump said that he did not mean U.S. boots on the ground, but that there were many countries who were part of the peace deal who said they would be willing to offer assistance.
I mean, we've had countries calling me when they saw some of the killing with Hamas, saying we'd love to go in and take care of the situation ourselves.
As the White House pushes its nationwide crackdown on crime, an appeals court handed the Trump administration a legal victory Monday, ruling President Trump can deploy National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon. The appeals panel froze a lower court's order blocking the Guard deployment. Oregon's governor has called the administration's efforts an abuse of power.
Oregon remains united in the fight against this unwanted, unneeded military intervention in Oregon.
This comes as the president announced plans to visit China fairly early next year and warned of even bigger tariffs on Chinese imports if a trade agreement isn't reached soon.
China's paying 55% and a potential 155% come November 1st unless we make a deal.
The president is expected to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping in person later this month at an economic summit in South Korea. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump also announced today that construction has begun on a new privately funded White House ballroom as part of a modernization of the East Wing. Doug returns next with a complete look at your forecast, and a little bit later, an organization hits a roadblock on its way to opening a warming and cooling center in Miami.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a warmer day for us today. Also super windy at times during the afternoon. We had winds gusting 40 upwards to 45 miles per hour, but no rain with it, just a few clouds kind of really just shooting through as this storm system, most of the moisture is up across the northern parts of the plains. So rain across Iowa into parts of Wisconsin. We aren't going to see any rain from this system, but our next one will give us some pretty good chances. Look at the wind still out of the northwest, kind of kicking in 10 to 15, but we've had gusts higher than that. The gusts are going to stay kind of in that 10 to 20 range through the night. They'll slowly decrease, and it's going to be breezy tomorrow. We could have winds gusting 20-ish at times, maybe 25 as we get into Tuesday afternoon. All right, let me walk you through time. So by morning, we're down mid 40s, 45 to about 48 degrees to kick off your Tuesday. By Tuesday afternoon, a great day, plenty of sunshine, and our temperatures lower 60s by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, I think most of us 66, 67, 68 degrees, pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. A little bit colder tomorrow night. We drop back lower 40s across the region. Heading into Wednesday afternoon, we get a little bit of a southerly fetch of wind back, and we warm up 70, 72 degrees. So we'll get back into the 70s by the middle of the work week. All right, your Tuesday day planner, 46 to start, 63 by noon, high temp, 68 during the afternoon. You can actually see this whole storm system wrapping up, kind of ushering in a little bit cooler air across the region, which is nice. It was so warm for us last week. All right, this system rolls out pretty quiet Tuesday, Wednesday, and then into Thursday. Late in the day, rain starts to sneak back in. This is a weak upper level wave, but it has nothing really to shove it on off toward the east, so it's going to be a slow mover. Gives us rain chances into Saturday. And then look at this, another storm system drops in. This is early next week. This could bring in definitely our first frost, maybe close to our first freeze as we get into early next week. All right, let's look at the rest of the week. Here's Thursday. Rain chances increasing late in the daytime hours. Rain periods, it doesn't really look like thunderstorms. There could be some thunder embedded in, but showers, maybe some thunder showers most of the day Friday. High school football Friday night, and still showers sticking around on Saturday. This is going to exit, and then we start to clear out, and then our next storm system will drop in right behind it, which will affect us by Monday. All right, rain fall potential, definitely we could see 1 or 2 inches across the region as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, into Sunday morning. All right, 68 on your Tuesday, 74 Wednesday, 75 Thursday. Look at the 60s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then back into the 70s by Monday.
Loving those temps, Doug. Thanks. Millions of internet users were left in the dark today with popular websites and services unavailable. The outage this morning was caused by an issue with Amazon Web Services, or AWS. Michael Yoshida has more on the crash and how so many things in our lives could be impacted by a problem with this one service.
An internet outage impacting millions of users across the world.
We've designed everything to work with this constant connectivity. And when you pull that big plug, everything basically becomes dumb.
The all-important plug that was pulled Monday, Amazon Web Services, or AWS. The internet-based cloud service hosts many of the world's most used online services, connecting businesses to people using their apps and online platforms.
AWS sits in the middle of everything. It is, all of these companies, they all have offloaded their web services, their cloud-based services to AWS, which is great because it's more affordable. It's also more scalable than they could do on their own. So that sounds great, except when it fails.
Monday, banking apps like Venmo, online video games, including Fortnite, social media platforms such as Snapchat, along with Amazon-linked smart devices and homes all affected. Disney Plus and Hulu reported outages too, while Delta and United Airlines were also impacted. In 2024, AWS accounted for 37% of the global cloud market share, according to market research firm Gartner.
Part of the problem is the more consolidation we have and the fewer sort of competing web services we have, the more of a problem this is going to be. When you can have something that's seemingly so small or so localized have such a cascading and global impact.
In Washington, Michael Yoshida.
Amazon says recovery is complete across most affected services, although some residual issues or delays may still occur as systems fully return to normal, such as launching new instances. Today's outage struck right here in the 4 states. The disruption hit Canvas, the learning software used in some area schools that many teachers rely on daily. Instructure, which operates Canvas, confirms the disruption stems from the widespread AWS outage. The Ozark School District reports a minimal impact as teachers adapted to the outage. Republic schools also saw teachers adjusting quickly to alternative methods. The disruption highlights how teachers, not just technology, drive students to success. Still ahead, local high school tennis players earn some all-conference honors, and Riverton High School hosts a regional quad volleyball tournament. Ben McLeish has those stories and more up next in sports.
Two of our local Kansas high school volleyball teams fight to advance to sub-states tonight in the Class 3A Region 2 volleyball quad. And they face each other in the first round. The 1-seed Riverton Rams host the 16-seed Columbus Titans. And the Rams come out of the gates hot. Ava Price sets it up for Gracie Rance, who gets the kill on the spike, and Riverton takes an early lead. Looking to keep momentum, Avery Barnett places this one in no man's land for the Riverton point. The Rams would take set 1. But the Titans looking to respond in set 2. Adalie Grayful's attack is deflected, and ultimately she gets the kill as the Rams can't return it. Riverton would take a big lead in the second set, and Savannah Matthews secures the ace for the final point of the match. Riverton sweeps Columbus. The Titans' season would end tonight after finishing 0-3. In round 2, the Rams take on 9-seed Anderson County. Riverton looking to come out strong again. It's Rance with the tip that finds floor, and the Rams continue to dominate. Barnett's serve is returned by the Bulldogs, but KG Kinsley and Ava Price are there for the block as the Rams take set 1. Here it looks like Rance will get another kill, but Anderson County returns it back only for Price to finish the job. Riverton just needs one more point for another sweep. Barnett sets it up for Kinsley, and Kinsley with the perfectly placed attack. The Rams start the night 2-0. Final match of the day, Rams taking on 8-seed Wellsville. Riverton once again gets off to a good start thanks to a block by Rance and Rylan Thomason. Looking to clinch the set, it's Thomason with the kill, and the Rams have won 5 straight sets. Wellsville looking to respond. They can't return Barnett's attack though, and the Rams need just one more point to clinch the regional. And this one is going to end on a Grace Rance ace as Riverton wins all 6 sets and advances to sub-state. And 4 local high school girls tennis players earn all-conference nods today. A duo from Webb City gets first-team COC West honors, Macy Beverlin and Lorelei Fisher. We've also got 2 local athletes earning a spot on the second team. That would be Elena Ramos from Joplin and Haley Standeffer from Neosho.
Congratulations to all those athletes, for sure. We'll be right back.
It's definitely going to be a chilly night tonight. We drop back into the mid-40s, 68 tomorrow, down to 44 tomorrow night. 70s return. This is going to be on Wednesday into Thursday. Rain chances increasing late Thursday. And then look at this, kind of chilly rain as we go into Friday, Saturday, and Saturday night.
Doug, thanks. A community organization in Miami, Oklahoma hopes to open a warming and cooling center, but it seems they've hit a bit of a roadblock. The Good Neighbor Project was seeking a new piece of property to help with the homeless community. Reporter Ty Parks has more from Miami.
Neighbor Project is an organization that seeks to give back in the Miami area. They started helping people shortly before the pandemic, and after the virus faded back, they focus on the street citizens of Miami.
And there's a lot of stigma that comes with somebody that's, on the streets. They call them drug addicts, alcoholics, all this other stuff. And though some true in some cases, a lot of people, they just fell and there was nobody there to pick them up.
Aldridge says that they know if they had a building they could use as a home base.
We can get them their benefits, we can get them, off the treatment, we can do all those things if we just had a permanent facility. So this facility hunt's been going on for, like I said, about 5 years. We've been close a couple times, and we really rely on God to direct us.
Vacant church on the corner of West Central and East Street Southwest is perfect.
But it's on, the church has been there for a lot of years. So the only different thing that we're doing from a normal church, we're going to be open more than just Sunday. We're still going to have services in the church. We've got a couple pastors on our staff that's willing to come in and do service with them. And then our kitchen will be open, like I said, 3 times a day.
Until the city zoning board told them the church is not zoned correctly, GMP can take the matter to the zoning board for a change. Good Neighbor will look at their options to continue their mission.
I don't want to see people, not in our country. We shouldn't have people going hungry in our country, and it is frustrating that it's happening.
In Miami, Oklahoma, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
The city of Miami says they opened the Civic Center and the downtown attraction building during weather events. How about a final sports note?
Well, this Friday we have the final night of Kansas and Missouri regular season football. I can't wait. It's going to be a cold night, though, so everyone should bring your jackets, maybe your umbrellas for that one.
But you know what? It feels like football weather when it's like that.
Yeah.
You want to kind of put on your sweatshirts or your jackets, during those kind of games.
Yeah, it's felt like summer all season. Now we finally get, hopefully, a gritty football night, right?
All right, we'll find out soon enough. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.